The next topic is bill of exchange. This is the second type of negotiable instrument what we have to study. Promissory note we have already done, right? We're talking about the bill of exchange now. Now, in bill of exchange, basically, what happens in bill of exchange, how it is made. Let us understand the process first once, right? Let us understand the process of making this bill of exchange. Then we will turn on to the meaning of it. Anyways, meaning is very simple. It is a negotiable instrument, right? Let me just explain you the process first. Okay, guys, this is the process. This is an example, not a process, but an example here, right? Okay, let us say Mr. Sam is a drawer. Let us name some easy terms to them. We will be able to understand it. So first one is the seller. Mr. Sam is the seller. Mrs. Rita is the buyer. And this sale we are talking about is a credit sale. Got it? So, seller selling goods to buyer on credit. Mr. Sam, who is a seller here, will be known as a drawer. He sold goods to Mrs. Rita, who is a drawee, and draws a bill of exchange. Now, very first thing you have to understand is bill of exchange. Who will draw bill of exchange? Seller will draw bill of exchange. For whom? For buyer, that is the drawee. Are you clear? Seller is drawing bill of exchange. For whom? For the buyer. Right? The person who will draw the bill of exchange is known as drawer. The person for whom the bill of exchange will be drawn will be drawee. Are we clear? The bill of exchange is delivered to Rita and is accepted by her unconditionally. So, Sam, what he will do? He will do two things. He will sell goods to Rita. He will deliver the goods and also he will make the bill of exchange and will give it to the Rita. What Rita will do, what buyer will do here, buyer will accept the bill of exchange, will receive it, will study it, will sign it. Signing means the person has accepted that, okay, whatever is written in this bill of exchange, I agree to it. Are we clear? Okay, one more thing. If you remember, yesterday when we were discussing the features, I told you that bill of exchange, there will be no liability created of any person in the bill of exchange if it is not delivered. Yes or no? So now who is having the bill of exchange? Rita. Are we clear? Now Rita will accept the bill of exchange and will give it to the Sam, who is a seller here. Are you clear? Seller has received the bill of exchange now. It means now the goods have been delivered, the bill of exchange accepted and received by the seller. Now what will happen? Whatever maturity date, whatever due date is written in that bill, on that due date, on maturity, the drawer, who is the seller, will present the instrument to draw for the payment. On maturity date, seller will tell buyer that this is the bill of exchange you have signed and now today is the maturity date, today is the due date, today is the day on which you have promised that you will make the payment. Okay, so the bill has been presented here, correct? Bill presented. Afterwards what will happen? Drawee will receive the bill, will keep that bill with itself. Drawee will keep the bill with himself, bill of exchange, right? And will make the payment to the drawer. It means drawer will receive the payment and transaction is complete. Simple thing has happened. Seller, buyer sold the goods, bill of exchange I have given, you have signed it, accepted it, you have given it back to me. On maturity date, I will show it to you that today is the date you have made the promise for making the payment, you will make the payment to me and that bill of exchange will come to an end. Transaction will be completed. Are you clear? This is how you will make bill of exchange. Done? Eh? Now the point is, sir, bill of exchange, how it will be made we understood, but what is written in the bill of exchange? This is a specimen of bill of exchange. So here you will write the name of the drawer, the address, the date, the amount in figures, 4 months after date. 4 months after date. Which date? The date on which it is drawn. this is drawn on this date. Are you clear? So 4 months after date means the date on which it is drawn. Pay to Mr. B. Who is Mr. B? Pay. Correct? A sum of rupees 10,000 for value received. Which value has been received? The goods which were received. The goods which were delivered by seller to the buyer. For those goods, the payment of 10,000 rupees is agreed to be paid to Mr. B here. Are we clear? Yes or no? Who is drawing it? Mr. A is drawing it. For whom? Mr. C. And the payment will be made to Mr. B. It means if I am seller, you are buyer. I am drawing bill of exchange. You are accepting it. And in that bill of exchange, I have clearly written that you will not make the payment to me. You will make the payment to my order, to him. Are we clear? So, I will be drawer, you will be drawee, and the person to whom the payment has to be made will be pay. Sir, is it important that you should write some other name for the payment? You can't write your own name that you should make the payment to me. I can do that. I can do that. Are we clear? So in this case, I will be draw. If I write my own name, in this case, I will be drawer, you will be drawee, and I will be payee. It means in bill of exchange, drawer and payee can be the same person. This is a very important thing to be understood. Drawer and payee could be the same person. Clear? Hai? And then his address. Here, signature should be done. Mr. A, drawer. Are we clear? Here, drawee will also make the do the signature because he has to make the payment. Are we clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. If we understood the specimen here, let us understand how many parties are there. There are 3 parties in the bill of exchange. Who are they? The drawer, the drawee, and pay. Who is drawer? The drawer is a person who will make the bill of exchange. Who is drawee? The person directed by the drawer to pay is called the drawee. It means if I am drawer, I am writing the bill of exchange, I am making the bill of exchange. I am directing you to make the payment. It means the person who will be directed by the drawer. The person who will be directed by the drawer that you have to make the payment. So the person who has to make the payment will be known as drawee. And who will be paying? The person to whom the payment has to be made. Are you clear? The person who will make the bill of exchange, drawer. The person who will make the payment, drawee. And the person to whom the payment has to be made, pay. Are we clear? Simple short, yes or no? Okay. Let us just read it. He is the person on whom the bill is drawn. On acceptance of the bill, he is called an acceptor and is liable for the payment of the bill. His liability is primary and unconditional. You remember Indian Contract Act? In Indian Contract Act, what is the first base? Offer plus acceptance. When offer is given, the 2 parties who are involved in the offer are known as offerer and offeree. Yes or no?
Yes,
So their name is offerer and offeree only till the point where the offer is accepted. Once the offer is accepted, it becomes promise. Yes or no? So the moment offer is accepted, it becomes promise, and now those 2 same parties will not be offerer and offeree now. They will be known as promisor and promisee. Their name will change. Yes or no? That is the same thing it is being told here, that the person for whom the bill is drawn will be known as drawee. The person for whom the bill is drawn is known as drawee. But the moment he accepted, on acceptance of the bill, the moment bill of exchange is accepted, that drawee will be known as acceptor. Acceptor means the person who has accepted the bill of exchange and the person who has accepted the liability to make the payment also. Got my point? The person who will sign it, the person who will accept the bill of exchange, he will be the person who will be primarily and unconditionally liable to make the payment of the amount which is mentioned in the bill of exchange. Primary and unconditional. Are we clear? Right? Third party is payee. Who is payee? The person named in the instrument to whom or to whose order the money is by the instrument directed to be paid. Means who will receive the payment? Okay, there are 2 things. Who will receive the payment? This is one thing. Or sometimes you may write the name of a person who will tell to whom the payment should be made. Means first I am saying is to him the payment should be made. That is first thing. Second, I can also say that I am writing his name in the bill of exchange, and I am writing his name in a way that on due date he will tell to whom the payment should be made. Are yes or no? Are we clear? He will tell to whom the payment should be made, right? So in this case, I will be drawer, you will be drawee, and he will be paying. Drawer primarily is a seller. Drawer primarily is a seller. Okay, and he will make the bill of exchange. Payee cannot make the bill of exchange. Payee is only that person who will finally receive the payment. This is the difference. Clear hai? Guys, are we clear? Doubt hai? Are you guys clear? Yes or no? Chaliye. Some characteristics of bill of exchange, same as those what we have studied before. The features of negotiable instrument: it should be in writing, must contain an express order to pay. The order to pay must be definite and unconditional. What do you mean by definite? What do you mean by unconditional? Unconditional means there should be no condition upon the payment, and definite means certain. It means everything should be clearly written. There should be no confusion. Clear hai? Then drawer must sign the instrument. Generally, here it is written drawer must sign the instrument. Generally, both the parties will sign the instrument, drawer and drawee, because unless until drawee signs the instrument, we cannot hold him liable for making the payment. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
E point says drawer, drawee, and payee must be certain. It should be clearly written who is the drawer, who is the drawee, and to whom the payment should be made. Correct hai? All these three parties may not necessarily be the three different persons. Acha, in promissory note, if you remember, I told you that there are two parties, maker and payee. And in promissory note, in the features, we studied that both these parties should be different person. Yes or no?
Yes.
It means one person cannot make a promise to himself that I will make the payment to me. Correct hai na? Here it is saying that these three parties may not be the different persons. They may be same. Maybe same as in, it says one can play the role of two. One can play the role of two. Means drawer can be payee. I am drawing the bill of exchange, you are accepting it, and I am asking you to make the payment to me only. It means I am drawer, you are drawee, and I am only the payee. Are we clear? Yes or no? Then it says, but there must be two distinct persons in any case. देखिए, at least two different people are required. Drawer and drawee should be different. Coming on to payee, payee could be a third person in the bill of exchange. Payee could be the drawer also. Are you clear? As per section 31 RB Act 34, a bill of exchange cannot be made payable to bearer on demand. You cannot make, as per RBI Act, not the Negotiable Instrument Act. As per the RBI Act, it cannot be made payable to bearer on demand. It means there has to be a certain maturity date, and before that maturity date, you cannot ask the payment. Okay, payment on demand it is saying. What do you mean by payment on demand? Payment on demand means the bill of exchange is ready. Whenever I will ask you to make the payment, you have to make the payment by that time. That is what we call payable on demand. Are you clear? Bill of exchange will not be payable on demand. That is the reason in accounts you study the concept of discounting of bill of exchange. Because if before the maturity date you want to get the payment, you cannot ask the drawee to make the payment. You have to go to the bank and you can discount your bill of exchange. Are we clear? Yes or no? On demand paid to the bearer, the sum of rupees 500 for value received, it is invalid BOE. Why it is invalid? It is invalid not because it is payable on demand. It is invalid because it is a bearer and payable on demand. Try and understand. If you don't write the name of the payee specifically, then you cannot make bill of exchange as payable on demand. But if you write the if you write the name of the payee specifically, and if it is decided between you and payee, drawer and payee, that payment should be made on demand. If it is decided, then it can be made. Understand the thing. First one I am saying, it cannot be bearer plus payable on demand. Okay? It can be certain person plus payable on demand. Read this second one, you will understand this thing. It says, however, a bill of exchange payable on demand in which name of the payee is mentioned is valid. Are you getting a point? It means if you write the name of a person that to this person only the payment has to be made, then it can be made payable on demand. But if there is no name written of the payee, if it is a bearer instrument, then it cannot be made payable on demand. Are you clear? You can read the example here. It says, देखिए, in this example and this example, there is only one difference. The name of the payee is mentioned. It says on demand pay to A. Pay to A means A becomes the payee. Correct hai? On demand pay to A or order. Or order means order of A. Order of A. The sum of rupees 500 for value received. It is a valid BOE. Are we clear, guys? Then it says the sum must be certain. Of course, you are making a bill of exchange. You have to write a certain amount which is to be paid by one person to the another. Then it says the order must be paid to pay money and money only. And last it says it must be stamped. Are you clear? Stamped according to Indian Stamp Act. Guys, are you clear with the things? This process I've already explained it to you people, right? Moving ahead. This difference between promissory note and bill of exchange, as I've already told you that this is for your reading purpose. Read it. In case of any doubts, I will take your doubts. You can refer your book directly to read this difference table. Okay? Chaliye, next is check. Next is check. Okay, guys, check and bill of exchange, they both are very similar. In fact, check is a type of bill of exchange only. Right? Bill of exchange, all of us, we understand what is bill of exchange. Now, how check is bill of exchange, let us understand. बहुत simple है. In bill of exchange, there are three parties: drawer, drawee, and payee. Correct? Here, drawee could be any person. Correct? But when you make a check, in check also there are three parties: drawer, drawee, and payee. Drawer in case of check will be a person who is the account holder, who is drawing the check. Are we clear? Yes or no? Drawee. Now, who will be drawee in case of check? In case of check, the check is an instruction. Try and understand this thing. Check is an instruction not for a person to make the payment, but it is an instruction to the bank to make the payment to the person whose name is written on the check, the payee. It means bill of exchange and check works almost in the same way, but the difference is, in case of check, drawee is always fixed, who is a banker. Are we clear? Yes or no? Let us now understand. It says a check is a bill of exchange drawn on a specific or specified banker. Drawn on a specified banker. It means this is the drawee. We are drawing the bill of exchange for the banker. Are we clear? And not expressed to be payable otherwise than on demand, and it includes the electronic image of a truncated check and a check in the electronic form. अब समझिए इसको क्या कह रहे हैं. It says that check is always payable on demand. If I give a check to you, writing your name on the check, in that case, unless until you present that check in your bank, you will not get the payment. So when you are presenting that check in your bank, It means you are demanding the payment, that I want to get the payment from this check. Yes or no? Obviously, you will look at the date of the check also. You cannot get the payment of the payment from the check before the date mentioned. That is very true. But after the date, whatever date is mentioned on the check, after that date, you have to demand the payment. Then only you will get it. For example, if I make a check and I write today's date, it means from today the check will be valid. Yes or no? Correct? It means on or after today, you have to go to your bank to deposit the check, then only you will get the payment. Just because the check is valid now, automatically you are not going to receive the payment. You have to demand the payment from the bank. Getting a point? That is the reason we are saying that it is payable on demand. Are we clear with the things? Yes or no? Next thing. In check, we include two types of checks. First is the truncated check and the second is check in the electronic form, e-check. What is the difference? Have you seen the physical check? That physical check is a truncated check. When you write everything on like physically, the check pe likhte hain, that is a truncated check. Okay? And it is signed physically actually. The check is signed physically. Now how the check ka process works, I just tell you. I'll give a check to you. You will deposit the check in your bank. Your bank will send that check to my bank. My bank will cross-verify all the details. Then my bank will release payment to your bank and then your bank will deposit that money in your bank account. This is how the thing works. Are we clear? Now, when you will give my check to your bank to receive the payment, right? In that case, when your bank will get the physical check from you, there are two ways to send that check to my bank. In old days, clearance of check used to take some time. 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, sometimes more than that. Reason being that physical check we used to send to the other bank. It means you will give the check to your bank and your bank will give that physical check to me. I will cross-verify everything, then I will release the payment. Are you clear? So this delivery of check used to take some time. But nowadays what happens? Whatever check I will write, I will give it to you. You will give the check to your bank. Your bank will scan that check. And your bank is not giving that check physically to me. Your bank will send electronic image of the check to me. It means those 2-3 days of delivery are safe. It means before the electronic images, when we used to send the checks physically from one bank to another, it used to take 2 to 3 days extra, yes or no? But nowadays, why the clearance of check is now expedited? Uska reason simple hai, that now the physical checks are not moved from one place to another, rather its electronic image is moved. Getting a point? Yes or no? So those 2-3 days of delivery of check are saved. That is the reason nowadays when you deposit your check in your bank, within 2 to 3 working days, the check amount is reflected in your bank account. Getting a point? Yes or no? Okay. So what is electronic image of truncated check? The physical check you have drawn, you have signed physically, right? The scanned image, the electronic image of that check is what we call electronic image of truncated check. Are we clear on this? Now there is one more way of giving the check. That is in electronic form. Try and understand. Electronic image of truncated check is different from the check in the electronic form. One difference I will tell you, very, very simple difference, you will understand it. Truncated checks need to be signed physically. But checks in the electronic form need not be signed physically. These checks which are in the electronic form are signed using DSC, that is Digital Signature Certificate. Now sir, what is this DSC? What is this Digital Signature Certificate? You might have said in your Companies Act 2013, right? DSC is a type of a USB device. That's a USB device. So when you will open the electronic check, e-check, you fill all the details there. You fill all the amount, the details like date. Then date to anyways automatically it will get filled, right? Or you can mention the date also. Date, name of the person to whom you have to make the payment, amount, वगैरह, all the things you will fill, right? After filling it, that DSC you have, that USB token you have to insert that USB token in your device, like your laptop or maybe the PC you are working on, right? The moment that USB token will be attached to your device, it will automatically read that token and will ask you for your password. Are you clear? That password is what we call private key. Private key means your private password. The moment you enter your password, you click enter, all the things will be read and automatically your name will appear on e-check. The moment your name will appear on e-check, it means it is signed and it is an authentic signature. Are you clear? Yes or no? So that is e-check. Saying something? That will be e-check, which is signed electronically, and truncated check is signed physically, manually. Are you clear? So when you will say about check, so check will include both the things. Check will include the electronic image of truncated check, and also it will include the electronic check, that is check in the electronic form. But are we clear on this thing? Yes or no? Yes. Any doubts? Check. Generally, I see that people are a bit confused with the truncated check wala thing. I hope all of you are clear with the difference between truncated check and the check in the electronic form. So whatever we have studied, it is shown in a diagram here. You see, a check is a bill of exchange which is drawn on a specified banker, which will be payable on demand. Payable on demand means, sir, to get the payment, we have to present that check. If you don't present the check will be not paid. Are you clear on this, guys? Now, what do you mean by payable on demand? It should be payable whenever the holder chooses to present it to the drawing. So, who is the holder of the check? When that person will present the check, then only he will get the payment. Correct? As I told you before also, who is a banker? Banker includes any person acting as a banker and any post office saving bank. Post office saving bank, I hope all of you understand that in post office you can have your saving accounts. Yes or no? So, who is a banker? Any person who is acting as a banker, or any post office saving bank will also be a banker for you, because you can draw a check for that bank also. Clear it now? They get this explanation. Check in the electronic form, I have already explained. Truncated check, I have already explained. You can read it once. Any doubts, I will take care. Don't worry at all. Correct? This is how a check looks like, guys. I hope all of you have seen a physical check. Yeah. You write a date here. In this case, pay. I mean, you'll write the name of the pay here, the person to whom you have to make the payment. Then a sum of rupees in words, here in figures, right? Account number, bank detail, the address of the bank. You know what is this? This is the check number. And then you have the MICR codes. Okay? That is a MICR code is for the reference of the bank to identify the check. Okay? Then you have to sign here. Okay? Nowadays the check you see in this column where you sign, the name of the account holder is already written here. Mr. A. Sir, the name is already written. Does that mean that he need not sign the check? No. The name is written for the security purpose that this check belongs to this account holder. Sign is mandatory. Without signing the check will not be valid. Okay? And sometimes two signatures are to be made, one in front and the second at the back of the check. One on the face of the check, second at the back of the check. Are you clear? Achha, one more thing, guys. You might have seen on many checks, these two lines are drawn like this. Yes. This is what we call crossing of check. Okay? And these two lines are known as two parallel transverse, that is diagonal lines. Two parallel transverse lines. Okay? This is what we call crossing of check. Now, what is crossing of check? We will understand this thing ahead. आगे पढ़ेंगे इसको पूरा. Okay? This is for the security purpose actually. Are you clear? Just to give you a hint, whenever a check is crossed, like whenever you draw these two lines on the face of the check, anywhere I'm saying, generally people draw it like this. What does it mean? It means that the payment of this check will be made only and only in the account of the person whose name is written here. That check cannot be cashed on a cash counter. Okay, you cannot withdraw cash from the cash counter. The money will be transferred to the bank account only. Are you clear? Yes. Okay, we will discuss about all these things in depth in the upcoming part. Okay. Sorry. Pay's account number. Pay's account number, when he will deposit this check in his account, no, at the back of the check he will write his account number, his name and his mobile number. Generally when you present this check in your bank, there is always a slip attached to the check. Nowadays that slip also they have omitted the slip. I'm not that slip is not used. Many banks, what they have done, they have installed a machine. Look at me guys, the banks have installed a machine. So what do? You go, you enter all your details there and you put the check in the machine. Check will go inside the machine and a very micro copy of the check will come outside. So that will be a proof that you have deposited this check. And all the things will go automatically now. But there is a reason, no, that why in old times clearance of check used to take some time. Because everything used to be physical, manual. Nowadays everything is now technical. Pura technology pe ho gaya. Are we clear? Guys, any doubts here? Any questions? Sorry? Asymmetric crypto system. Okay. Asymmetric crypto system, as I told you in the electronic check, you have to attach that USB token, right? Asymmetric crypto system is a security system. When you use things online nowadays, information technology, IT is everything nowadays. So it becomes very important that whenever you are using this technology, it has to be safe. So we make a security system through which all the things will pass safely. So this system which is making all the things happening safely, that system is what we call asymmetric crypto system, right? This system is fully explained in Information Technology Act. IT Act में आप इसको पूरा पढ़ सकते हैं, right? Anything else? I don't know whether it is there or not, but I just want to give you one additional piece of information. Whenever you use that USB token, no beta, right? That USB token, your signature is a combination of two keys. Two keys. First is the public key, second is the private key. ये इसके अंदर ही आता है, asymmetric crypto system के अंदर ही आता है. की नाम दिया गया है सर, और only a name is given as key. की का मतलब क्या है? Public key and private key. Public key means that physical USB drive. Anybody in public can use it. Can have it. Anybody in public can have it. That will be a public key. To use this public key, to use this USB token, unless until you have a password, you will not be able to use it. And that password will be with one person only. That is reason we call it private key. So digital signature certificate, DSC, will be used only when public key will meet private key. So yeah, in fact, when you people will be CAs, all of you have to possess DSC. It is mandatory for you people also nowadays, right? Because when you will sign your client's ka documents, how will you sign it? Physical documents nahi aaj ki date mein. Yes or no? All of the things you will sign on the website of MCA. What happened? Website of MCA, all the forms are in electronic form right now, right? So all the electronic forms are signed using that DSC only. Are you clear? Shall we move in? आगे बढ़े? How many parties are there in the check? Name them. Drawer, drawee, pay. Who is drawer? Drawer is the person who is making it. Drawee, always a banker. Who is pay? The person to whom the payment has to be made. Tell me one thing. Can drawer and pay be the same person? Can drawer and pay be the same person? Very good. Wrong answer. Of course, yes. I can draw the check for myself. Self check. Come on, guys. Self check hota hai na beta? What is self check? Self check is if I don't want to use my ATM, or if the amount I have to withdraw is large, which cannot be withdrawn from the ATM, I'll go to the banca branch. I will write a check on my name. Sometimes you write yourself, sometimes you write myself, sometimes you write self. Depends upon the bank. You write self. Self means to the account holder itself. So drawer and payee could be the same person. Are you clear? In bill of exchange also, it was like this. Drawer and payee could be the same person. And I mentioned above that check is a type of bill of exchange only. Yes or no? आगे बढ़े? Shall we move in? चलो. 3 parties to the check. drawer, drawee and pay. Done, guys? Okay. One thing I want you people to pay attention to. This term, drawee in case of need. What is this concept of drawee in case of need, beta? It says when in the bill or in any endorsement thereon, the name of any person is given in addition to the drawee to be resorted to in case of need, such person is called a drawee in case of need. Have you ever seen that when you receive a parcel, it is at the back, it is written, if it is not delivered, please return this parcel to this address. कभी देखा आपने? Never? चलिए see. Next time you receive a parcel, you see it. It is written there. Okay? So if you don't know that concept, we will not discuss that. We'll discuss about this directly. Now, sometimes the person for whom you are drawing the check, drawee, है ना? Sometimes the drawee is not present. Sometimes the drawee cannot do what you are asking him to do. So, any person on his behalf who is doing drawee's job, his name will be mentioned. It means if he is not available, he will do the things for him. A is drawee, B is drawee in case of need. B is drawee in case of need. So, what we are trying to say that primarily A will do all the things. But if A is not available, then B will perform on behalf of A. It means generally A is the drawee. Generally A is the drawee, but if A is not available, only and only then B will act as a drawee. Are you clear? So B here will be known as drawee in case of need. Are you clear? Okay. Guys, tell me one thing. Look at the screen. In check, three parties are named. The person who is a maker. Who is this party? Drawer. The person to whom, a person who is directed to pay. Who is drawee here? Banker. Okay, in case of check only. A person in whose favor it is issued. Pay. So if I am making the check in my favor, drawer, payee, banker will be drawee. Are you clear? Essential elements, the characteristics of a check. Please read it. First point says, according to the definition of check under section 6, a check is a species of bill of exchange. It means it belongs to the class of bill of exchange only. Thus, it should fulfill what? Should fulfill all the essential characteristics of a bill of exchange. It means characteristics of check, they are same as characteristics of bill of exchange, plus must be drawn on a specified banker. In bill of exchange, drawee could be an individual, could be a person. But in case of check, the drawee is always a specified banker. And then it says it must be payable on demand. Are we clear on this? Sure, guys? Okay, guys. So the next thing is the classification of negotiable instruments. There are different types of negotiable instruments we will understand. The very first category is the bearer instrument and the order instrument under section 30. People, this particular two types of instruments we have been discussing from the very starting, that bearer instruments are the instruments where the person who will receive the payment, his name is not specified there, right? It means on due date, on date of maturity, on date of payment, whoever will hold that instrument, whoever will have that instrument, whoever will bear the instrument shall be the payee. He will get the money. Yes or no? Whereas in order instrument, the name of the person is specified. Okay, so this is the basic difference between bearer and order instrument. Let us just read it once. It says bearer instrument, it is an instrument where the name of the payee is blank or where the name of payee is specified with the words or bearer. Means you are either not writing the name of the person, or you are writing that payment should be made to A or bearer. You are writing the payment shall be made to Mr. A or bearer. So that becomes the bearer document. Are we clear? Or where the last endorsement is blank. Last endorsement means I transferred to him, he transferred to him, he transferred to him. But when he transferred it to him, he didn't wrote any name. He's endorsing in blank. So that will become the bearer instrument. Are we clear? If you remember, this thing we have discussed before also. I told you endorsement in blank. Yes or no? Such instrument can be negotiated by mere delivery. Such instrument can be transferred by only delivery. Remember, I told you in the very beginning, instrument can be transferred by mere delivery or endorsement and delivery. So bearer instruments are negotiated by mere delivery, whereas order instruments are negotiated by endorsement and delivery. Are you clear? So what are order instruments? An instrument which is payable to a person or payable to a person or his order or payable to a order of a person or where the last endorsement is in full. Such instrument can be negotiated by endorsement and delivery. Means where you are making the description of a person that to this person the payment has to be made or to his order the payment has to be made. Yes or no? Are we clear? So these are the things between bearer and the order instrument. You can read these points also. In bearer instrument, name of the pay is blank. Name of the pay is blank, where here it is payable to a particular person. Here in the name of pay, you can write the specific name, but with the words or bearer. Here you will write payable to a person or you will write to or to his order. The last endorsement is blank and it is transferred by mere delivery. It is payable to order of a person or the last endorsement is full. Full means you are not leaving it blank. You are writing in full. You are specifying the person to whom you are transferring the document, right? Then it is negotiated, transferred by first first endorsement is done and then only you can do the delivery. Are we clear? Are we clear, people? But then we have inland instrument and foreign instrument. First thing, when we talk about inland instrument or foreign instrument, we are talking about all the three negotiable instruments which are described here, which are promissory note, bill of exchange or check. So what is inland instrument? First of all, inland means within India and foreign means outside India. Are you clear? So what is inland instrument? Look at this screen, please. A promissory note, a bill of exchange or a check which is drawn or made in India and made payable in or drawn upon any person resident in India shall be deemed to be an inland instrument. What it is saying? It is saying that any instrument which is drawn or made in India and made payable in or drawn upon any person resident in India. It means it is made payable in India or it is made payable, it is drawn upon any person who is resident in India. It means it is drawn upon any person who resides in India. Are you clear? Any document which is drawn or made in India, that is first condition. This is condition number 1. And this condition number 2, drawn in India or made in India. And what? And it is made payable in India. The payment will be made in India. Or it is drawn upon any person who resides in India. It means the payee, the person who will receive the payment, shall reside in India. Are you clear? That instrument will be known as an inland instrument. Do you understand this thing? drawn or made in India and payable in India or payable to a person who is residing in India. Are we clear? Yes or no? Some examples. A very important part. Acha, before we do these examples, I would just ask you people to read this table first. It'll make it very clear for us to understand the things. Inland instrument. Guys, look at the screen, please. Place where instrument is drawn and made. I told you, inland instruments are drawn or made in India. So, place where instrument is drawn and made payable. Which is the place where you are drawing the instrument or you are paying the instrument? So, promissory note or bill of exchange or check, which is drawn, made in India. They are drawn or made in India. Plus means and. Drawn in India, made in India, and payable in India. You are drawing it in India, you are making it payable in India, or you are drawing in India, or you are drawing upon a person who is resident in India. In both the cases, there are two combinations. This combination, or this combination. Any of the combination being satisfied, it will be an inland instrument. Are you clear? Some examples. It says a promissory note made in Kolkata and payable in India. Made in India and payable in India. Inland instrument hai. Yes or no? A bill drawn in Varanasi. First condition is satisfied. That is drawn or made in India. On a person residing in Jodhpur. Residing in Jodhpur, although it is stated to be payable in Singapore. Means will be paid in Singapore. But to whom it will be paid? It will be paid to a person who resides in India only. Are you getting a point? एक ही बात है. Resident in India. I mean, resident means what? Basically, when you say reside, so it is he might be living in India or he is a resident of India. In both the things you can say. Are you clear? Means you are making the payment outside India. But to whom? To a person who is a resident of India or who is residing in India. Are you clear? Third point says, A resident of Agra, drew a bill of exchange in Agra on B, who is a merchant in New York, and B accepted the bill of exchange as payable in Delhi. अब देखिए, where that bill is drawn, right? Who has accepted to make the payment? B, who is a merchant of New York. अच्छा देखिए, who is making the payment? That is not the point. Where the bill is drawn? India. Where it is payable? Payable in Delhi, in India. It is an inland bill of exchange. In this case, the bill of exchange was drawn in India and also payable in India. बात समझ में आ रही है? Should be drawn, made in India, plus payable in India, or drawn, made in India, plus payable to a person who is a resident of India. In both the cases, it will be an inland instrument. Are you clear? Read fourth and fifth quickly. Fourth and fifth point. A resident in Mumbai drew a bill of exchange in Mumbai. It means the first condition is satisfied, drawn or made in India. Second, it says on B, a merchant in Mathura. Who will make the payment? A person in India. And B accepted the bill of exchange as payable in London. Payable in London. It also, to whom the payment will be made? To A, who is a resident in Mumbai. Means drawn in Mumbai and also made payable to a person who is a resident of India, Mumbai. It means it will be an inland instrument. Are we clear? Sure, guys? This part? This part. If the bills of exchange mentioned in above two examples are endorsed in France, they will remain inland bills. Endorsement. देखिए आई टोल्ड यू, when you do the endorsement, the person who is endorsing, his liability will not be over unless until it is paid. Yes or no? It means he will be the primary person in the chain. Correct hai? So if you are endorsing it, like made in India, payable in India, everything is done, but endorsed in foreign country, still it will remain inland instrument by primary nature. Are you clear? Yes or no? Don't think about the instrument after the transfer. Think about the instrument before the endorsement. As simple as that. Done है?
सर वो फोर्थ वाले ने रेसिडेंट ऑफ मुंबई ए ने तो ड्रॉ किया था ना, तो उससे तो मतलब नहीं है, जिसके ऊपर ड्रॉ होगा वो इंडियन का रेसिडेंट होना चाहिए।
Drawn, made in India. Number one. Second thing, payable in India. Okay. Or drawn, made in India, payable to a person who is a resident in India.
सर ड्रॉ अकाउंट मतलब जो पे करेगा ड्रॉ अकाउंट।
You were there in the class when I was explaining bill of exchange. Bill of exchange में थे आप? I drew the bill for you. You accepted it. I drew the bill in Mumbai. Correct? I drew the bill in Mumbai. You are a merchant or I am a merchant in Mathura. Correct? You are giving, like I am giving bill of exchange to you. I am in Mathura, you are in Mumbai. You are accepting it, you are giving back to me. Correct? Is it made or payable in, it is made in India, drawn in India? Yes. Right? It is payable in India? Yes. Why? Because I will only receive the payment from you. So it means it is payable in India also. So it is an inland instrument. Are we clear? Yes or no? Drawn upon a person resident in India. Done it? Foreign instrument. You can understand this thing very easily. It is vice versa complete. Right? Complete vice versa as in wherever foreign country is introduced here, you will understand this thing. Foreign instruments are what type of instruments? A foreign instrument is one which is not an inland instrument. Very simple thing, as I told you. Vice versa hai. Any instrument which is an inland instrument is an inland instrument. Any instrument which is not an inland instrument will become a foreign instrument. Are you clear? Made or drawn in foreign country. It means the primary condition is violated. Yes or no? It will become foreign instrument. Yes or no? This is the primary condition. Promissory note, bill of exchange or check drawn or made outside India. Correct? Hai? On a person resident in or outside India plus made payable in India. Outside foreign country you are drawing the bill or promissory note or a check. Who has to receive the payment? A person who is resident in or outside India, and the payment will be made in India. It hardly matters. It will not be an inland instrument. Reason being, it is drawn outside India. Yes or no? मेरी बात समझ रहे हैं? Yes or no, guys? Right. Second is drawn made outside India on a person residing outside India, payable outside India. France में you drew a bill of exchange for a person in France to make the payment, and the payment is made in France only. It has nothing to do with India. It will be a foreign instrument. Are you clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Last part says any instrument made drawn outside India on a person residing in India, payable outside India. For whom this bill is drawn? For a person who is residing in India, but will be payable outside India, will become a foreign instrument. Are you clear?
Yes.
Right? A very simple way to understand what are foreign instruments. Any instrument which is not an inland instrument. Whatever situation is given to you, you see whether that situation is fitting into inland instrument or not. If it is fitting in inland instrument, if it is not fitting in, it will be a foreign instrument. Yes, sir.
Made in India.
Made in India.
To a foreign person payable in foreign country.
Made in India to a
Foreign person.
foreign person payable in abroad. बताइए. What do you say? It will be a foreign instrument. Reason being, one second. Reason being, if you see here, there is an addition sign to it. It means both these conditions should satisfy simultaneously. Any one of these conditions which is violated becomes foreign instrument. As simple as that.
Because that is not mentioned in this.
Sir, that is the reason they have written here, no? Any instrument which is not inland instrument will be a foreign instrument. That is the reason they have written it. Are we clear, guys? Sure? A very important part, liability of maker or drawer of foreign bill. If it is a foreign bill, right, how will you determine the liability of maker or drawer of the financial? It says, in the absence of a contract to the country, the liability of the maker or drawer of a foreign promissory note, bill of exchange or check is regulated in all essential matters by the law of place where he made the instrument and the respective liabilities of the acceptor and endorser by the law of the place where the instrument is made payable. Understand this thing very, very, very carefully. Generally, everywhere, what type of law is followed? Law of land. We follow law of land. Sir, what is law of land? Law of land means, look at me, any foreigner, let's say from US, a US citizen, flew from US, and the moment he will land, he will step out of the plane and he will step on the soil of India. From that very second, he has to follow the law of land, law of India. Are you clear? Up, let us say it is a foreign bill, right? There are two parties involved here, the person who is making and the person to whom the payment has to be made, maker and paying. Correct? What will be the liability of the maker? Or how will you determine the liability of the maker? If that bill, look at me, if that bill was drawn in India, guys, this example you read, it says a bill of exchange is drawn by A in Berkeley where the rate of interest is 15%. A bill of exchange is drawn by A who is in Berkeley where the rate of interest is 15% and accepted by B payable in Washington where the rate of interest is 6%. Now the bill is endorsed in India and is dishonored. Now it is dishonored. Since it is dishonored, right, the primary action will be taken against the person who has accepted it. That is B. Yes or no? Ab how much interest B will pay? B is in Washington. Yes or no? And law of Washington says that how much rate of interest should be paid? 6%. So B is liable to pay interest at the rate of 6%. But if at all A is charged as a drawer, in that case, he is in which place? Berkeley. The law of land says he should pay the interest at 15%. So if B is liable, he is in Washington, and by law of land, he should pay interest at 6%. And if A is held liable, by law of land, Berkeley, it says that the interest should be paid at 15%. So that is what I was explaining to you people, that law of land will be applied. Are we clear? Sure? This thing we have already understood. Inland instrument, when BOE, promissory note or a check, drawn made in India, made payable in or drawn upon a person resident in India. Foreign instrument, when it is not drawn in India, not made in India, not made payable in India. Not drawn in India, not made in India, not payable in India. Inland instrument, drawn in India, made in India, payable in India, or drawn upon a person who is resident in India. As simple as that. Got it? But the last class of negotiable instruments we'll study, there are two instruments. We'll study inchoate instrument and the ambiguous instrument. Inchoate and ambiguous. Inchoate and ambiguous instrument. Inchoate means incomplete. And ambiguous means confusing. Okay, inchoate means incomplete, ambiguous means confusing. Up how it works, let us understand. It says inchoate instrument, it means an instrument that is incomplete in certain respects. Many things are not specified here. For example, the drawer, the maker, the acceptor, the endorser of a negotiable instrument may sign and deliver the instrument to another person in his capacity, leaving the instrument either wholly blank or having written on it the word incomplete. Whatever thing you are drawing, it could be any instrument, if you don't fill any particular in that instrument, it is blank, it will be referred as inchoate instrument. Or on the face of the instrument, if you write incomplete, that will also become inchoate instrument. Are you clear? You are not filling out the instrument. For example, a check, right? If it is blank, it is written either wholly blank or having it written on it the word incomplete. I give a blank check to you without filling any details. It will be an inchoate instrument. It will be an incomplete instrument. Are we clear? I make a format of bill of exchange. I don't write amount. I don't write date. I don't write anything. It is just a simple format. That is it. I give it to you. Inchoate instrument. Are you getting a point? Yes or no? Simply speaking, a blank instrument where no details are filled. No amount, no date, no person to whom the amount should be payable, no person, the person who is responsible for making the payment, nothing is mentioned. Are we clear? Or if few details are written, then you are writing incomplete on that instrument. That will be an inchoate instrument. Are we clear? We are saying something. किसी भी वजह से हो सकता है. I have the check, I'm giving the check to you, you fill all the details by yourself. So for this transaction, full blank check. A CA of a person is having the checkbook. You want a check to be signed with this person. I give a check to you. Inchoate instrument. You will go to him, he will fill all the details and he will sign and he will give it to you. Are you getting a point? देखिए, so what I was saying is that when you don't fill the instrument, that is incomplete instrument. When you don't fill the instrument, that is what we call incomplete instrument. Or when you write incomplete on the face of the instrument, that is also an inchoate instrument. Okay. When the instrument is inchoate instrument, in this case, whoever is holding that instrument, the holder, can complete that instrument by writing any amount either within the limit specified therein or within the limit specified by the stamps affixed on it, either according to the stamp paper or whatever limits you are specifying, right? According to those limits, the amount can be filled here by the holder. The principle of this rule of an inchoate instrument is based upon the principle of estoppel. Means what? If I am giving instrument to you and you are filling the details according to you within the limit specified, in that case I cannot stop myself to bear the responsibility. I am trying to say I will be responsible for that instrument. Just because you are filling it, that does not give me any advantage to waive off the liability. I will be liable. Just because you are filling it, that does not mean that I will not be liable. I will be liable. I cannot stop myself from being liable for that instrument. Are we clear? Yes or no? Liability on drawing inchoate instrument. The person signing and delivering the inchoate instrument is liable both to a holder and holder in due course. However, there is a difference in their respective rights. Two people are mentioned here. We are mentioning holder and we are mentioning holder in due course. देखिए, I hope all of you can understand who is the holder. The holder of such an instrument cannot recover the amount in excess of the amount intended to be paid by the signer. I told you the amount should be within the limit specified. It means if you are filling the amount, let's say the limit is 10 lakhs and you are filling an amount of 20 lakhs, it means you will not be in a position to recover 20 lakhs from me. Sir, why? Because the limit was till 10 lakh. So when you specify the limit, in inchoate instrument, it means that when a person is filling the amount in that instrument, right, that person cannot claim any amount more than the limit. Are we clear? Yes or no? Holder in due course. Holder in due course can, however, recover any amount of such instrument provided it is covered by the stamp affixed on the instrument. For holder in due course, it is not important that what is the limit specified in the instrument. Holder का right is up to the limit specified. Holder in due course का right is up to the amount covered under the stamp. Whatever stamp duty you have paid, what limit that stamp duty covers, holder in due course can recover that amount. How much amount holder will recover? The amount you have specified. There's a difference. Holder in due course. Whatever limits you are specifying, holder cannot claim more than this amount. Holder in due course, whatever stamp you have affixed on this paper or whatever stamp duty you have paid for this paper, for this negotiable instrument, how much amount is covered in this stamp paper, he can recover up to that amount. This amount could be more than the limit specified by the person in the instrument. For example, if in the instrument I am specifying a limit of 10 lakhs and you are the holder, right? You cannot claim more than 10 lakhs. I have paid a stamp duty on this particular instrument which covers the amount up to 50 lakhs and he is the holder in due course. Correct? He is the holder in due course. It means he can recover up to 50 lakhs. Are you clear? Whatever amount I am specifying, holder can claim up to that amount. Whatever amount this stamp duty is covering, holder in due course can recover that much of amount. This amount could be more than the limit I am specifying in the instrument. Are we clear? Yes or no? Are you giving me a yes or no? Yes, sure? Now the problem is, sir, who is holder and who is holder in due course? And I can see on your faces. Yes or no? देखिए, holder in due course and holder in due course. Holder means what? Holder refers to a person who is holding the instrument, who is completing that inchoate instrument. Holder in due course, if that holder endorses that instrument to some other person, that person will become holder in due course. बात समझ में आई? अरे yes or no? Holder, I gave an inchoate instrument to you, an incomplete instrument. You are filing the amount. You are holder. सही है? You are transferring that instrument to him. He is transferring the instrument to him. He will become, or in fact, they will become holder in due course. Are you clear? How much amount you can fill in that instrument? How much amount you can fill in this instrument? The limit I am specifying. Are we clear? The limit I am specifying. Are we clear? How much amount they can claim? Whatever amount is covered in the stamp duty. Are we clear? Yes or no? Are we clear?